working on a Fusion 360 video, just kind of a beginner one, just to show how to do the key fob. Um, so in case you missed it or needed to go back at something, you can see it there. So first thing I'm going to do is make sure, if you don't have one, go and start a new folder to keep all your stuff in. You can actually pin them to the top if you want to. Just going to have that there. So first thing you want to do is click save and name it something so it makes sense. Spring 2020 version 1. And then that should change the very top component, or the very top of your list here. So what I'm going to do next is create two components. One is going to be called the base, where we're the key fob itself, and that was just up here. You can also right click on this and do new component as well, and then you have to click down here to name this one, and we'll call that one text. So the reason I'm doing this is you don't have to do this unless you want to print in dual color, like the base is one color and the words are another color, or the letters are another color. So that's why I'm doing it. Otherwise, if you just want it all one color, you don't have to do any part of that. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the base, so that way it knows I'm working on the base, and just click on that little radio button there. And then go ahead and click create sketch. Fusion's kind of laid out to go from left to right, and you can change obviously these tools up here. These are just kind of the default ones. I'm keeping those, so that way it should look like your screen as well. So the idea behind it is you make a sketch, or like a 2D drawing of something, and then you pull it into the third dimension by using an extrude command. So I want to create something on the top here. So if you look over on this side, you can hover over each one of these planes. I'm going to select that one there. And if you notice, it should have Z at the bottom left corner, and then Y and X. So key fob's fairly simple. It's a rectangle. There's a lot of different options for rectangle, and choose center rectangle. And I'm going to hover right here in the middle. This is kind of the origin, and pull this out to roughly the size. And then I'm going to type in, it's going to be 20 in the, if you want to call it, the height, and then 50 in the width. And you should notice that the these little locks come on there. If you create them and type them in and hit tab, it'll do that. And the only other part of key fob are two circles. So I'm going to go up here to center diameter circle, and I'll zoom in a little bit by rolling the scroll. I'm going to hover right here in the middle, and this little triangle comes up saying it's in the center, and I'm going to pull out to the very corner, and it's 20 because it should be. And then without doing anything else, I can create another circle. If you accidentally messed up, you can go back up there and click at the end. And then I'm going to pull out to type in, because it's going to go to evens. I'm going to type in 13. You can do 14 if you want, or 12. It just 13 seems to work good for me. All right, and then click finish sketch. And that's it. That's essentially the base. It's two-dimensional right now. So like I said, you're kind of going from left to right. The next one over is extrude. That pulls 2 dimensions into 3. I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to zoom in a little so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm clicking on this part of the circle, not the inside. This part over here, and then the rest of the rectangle. And then pull this up, and you can pull up whatever you want here, and type it in over here as well. You can also type it in over here. I just want an even 4 millimeter, and then click OK. So that's it for the base. So I'm going to go now to the text. We're going to put some letters on there. I'm going to hover over text and go over the little radio button, click activate component. You'll notice now the base is still there, but it's kind of like a ghost of itself that lets you know you're not working on that component. However, you can still select all the points of it. It's just, or all the faces and edges. So I'm going to create a sketch for this text, and I'm going to hover over this, not onto these planes here, but actually on the face of the base. Go ahead and click it, and it brings that up. And then I want to create again, and then go down to text. So I can select, and this really doesn't matter. I'm just going to click somewhere and then go up here and type in whatever letters I want. In this case, it's going to be ECE. You'll notice it for some reason, I don't know if it's a glitch or it's whatever, but it comes in upside down. So I'm going to rotate it around and I'm going to move it down a little bit. And I'm going to select bold, and 10 is a little bit too small. I'm going to actually go 20, and it looks almost a little bit too big, but if you kind of hover over here, you can kind of get it centered in there. So I want a little space from the hole here to the edge of my letters, and also I want some space over here. So you can also choose your fonts and stuff like that. I'm just going with something simple. You don't want anything too thin. You want kind of blocky, so that way the 3D printer can print it, because you don't want it so it's missing some parts. If you create something that's too thin or too script, kind of, I want something more chunky and blocky. And then go ahead and click OK. So that's it. I'm just going to go ahead and finish that sketch. And now you see those letters are there. I'm going to go up to extrude and click on the letters. And these I'm going to just type in 1.6 for 1.6 millimeter. And I can hit the enter, or I can go over here to OK and click that. And that's it. You'll notice now the base is still ghosty. The text is solid. If I go back up and activate the entire assembly, that's this little block here, that's because we have two components. It's making this an assembly. If I activate it and then click somewhere on the screen besides on it, you can see it's all gray. I'm holding down the shift key and my scroll wheel to kind of do this orbit, to kind of take a look at it. You can also do this up here as well. All right. I'm going to change this colors a little bit just to make it look better. Changing the colors in here, it does not change the color of the 3D print. The 3D print colors are determined by the 3D printer. So I'm going to go up here to modify and go to appearance. So appearance lets me pick kind of what I want this to look like, glass or wood or whatever. I'm just going to type in blue and scroll down until I find like some plastic glossy blue. I'm going to put that onto this piece here, the base. And then I'm going to type in gold. And I can go and click gold, and then, but I have to do each letter individually. I can also drag the gold over and drop it on the whole component, and that will make everything gold. And then I'll click close, and that's it. There is my Fusion 360 key fob.